Alrighty, folks, we are now 6-0 in our last 6 board member tier package picks on my premium site. It's been an incredible run, and if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that I actually like the best, I've got another board member tier package play going off here for you today. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 Major League Baseball tier package picks as well. And the good news is we have plays going off in both of those packages here today. And they're both included with your purchase of the board member package. And real quick, you know I got to give a big shout out to all of you chairman members out there because you guys cashed in on 5 more premium selections on my page yesterday. We had the Astros, Orioles, Braves, Guardians, and the Mariners. And the only way you could have accessed all of those winners, just like the chairman members, well, it's to join my full access, all-inclusive chairman membership. I'll explain a little bit more about all that in just a moment. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to my Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. Weekend's right around the corner. We are halfway there. And of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. And like I said earlier, if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that I actually like the best, you may want to think about signing up for my board member package. You'll get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you'll also get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. Now, folks, I'm 2-0 my last 2 daily best plays, 2-0 my last 2 extra daily picks, 3-0 in my last 3 Major League Baseball tier package plays. And finally, folks, I'm once again 6-0 in my last 6 board member tier package picks. Certainly a lot of great stuff happening on my premium site. A lot of folks making a lot of money. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Braves squaring off against the Red Sox, 1:35 Eastern first pitch. Boston's minus $120, totals 10 runs. Nick Pivetta for Boston, Spencer Schwellenbach for Atlanta. And even though Schwelly had a rough debut, he is backed by a solid lineup of hitters. The Braves are a top 10 hit-producing lineup in the league. Marcell Ozuna is hitting .313, ranks in the top 5 in homers, RBI, and OPS. Of course, Michael Harris, the second. He's got the second most hits on the roster. And they're facing a Boston club who does not like to win for Nick Pivetta for whatever reason. Pivy's just 2-4 on the year with an ERA in the 4s. And I'll tell you what, when Boston plays at Fenway, they certainly struggle a bit at the plate. They're actually striking out more times a game at home than any other lineup besides one. And because of that, they're now a bottom 10 run-producing team on their own field. Now, O'Neill, Gonzalez, Grissom, Abreu, and Yoshida, they're all still out for, Boston here. Sean Murphy could potentially suit up here today. He's questionable for the Braves. He was out a lot longer than I thought he'd be. I know he got hurt in opening day weekend, and it's been quite a while. So if he suits up, it'll be nice to see him, getting going here. 8 out of Atlanta's last 9 interleague road games fell under the total. They're also 17-3 to the under in all of their games against the American League. Meanwhile, the Red Sox, they've gone 65% to the under at Fenway Park this year, partly due to those offensive struggles. Give me the Braves plus $1 under 10. Next contest, Cards, Astros, 2:10 p.m. East. Houston's minus $165, totals 8.5. Ronel Blanco for Houston, Miles Michaelis for St. Louis. Now, 6 out of the Cards' last 8 road games stayed under the total. Houston went 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the under 9. Next game, Reds, Rockies, 3:10 p.m. East. Cincinnati's $1.30, totals 12. Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati, Dakota Hudson for Colorado. And as bad as Hudson's been, well, the Rockies did get the W in 2 out of his last 4 starts. Of course, at the plate, the Rockies are a solid run-producing team at Coors Field. It's about the only place they can hit the baseball. But, with that in mind, the Rockies are in the top 3 in the majors in hits per game at home. Elias Diaz, he has the highest qualifying batting average on the roster. Ryan McMahon has the most home runs and runs batted in. And they're facing Graham Ashcraft, who's definitely run into some problems this year on the mound. The righty's got an ERA in the high 4s, OPS of 145, and he's also backed by one of the worst hitting lineups in the game. Since he's averaging only 7.2 hits per contest, that particular stats puts him in the bottom 3 in that particular category. Now, 7 out of the Reds' last 10 ball games did stay under the total. Meanwhile, Colorado went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Rockies plus $1.15, under 12. Next game, little NL West action. Giants, Diamondbacks, 340 East. Arizona's $1.25, totals 8. Jordan Montgomery for Arizona. Jordan Hicks for San Francisco. And, I got to be honest, there's really not much bad I can say about Hicks. Having a great year on the mound for San Francisco. But as a team, the Giants are ice cold right now. Losers of their last 6 straight, just 12-19 in their road games. And I'll tell you what, they're facing an Arizona squad who's definitely playing well within the division. They're 13-9 against the NL West, and that is a competitive division. They all play each other tough. Once again, 13-9 in divisional games. Top 10 run-producing lineup in the league. And, of course, at the plate, these guys are seeing the ball well at Chase Field. I don't know if they know what's coming, but they almost have the fewest strikeouts per 9 at home at the dish. They do not strike out a lot, makes a lot of contact. Ketel Marte's got the most hits in the clubhouse. Christian Walker with a team best 38 RBI. Got to imagine we're going to see those numbers start to bump up here for Walker after somewhat of a slow start to the year. You'd think you're going to see that with Corbin Carroll as well. Man, what a rough start to the year for him. Now, out of the D-backs' last 10 gatherings with San Francisco, they've hit the ball well. They're averaging nearly 6 runs a game during that time frame. When it comes to the injury list, Perdomo and Thomas are still out for the D-backs. Wade and Ahmed are out for the Giants. 6 out of the Giants' last 10 outings did get over the total. They also went 10-2 to the over in their last dozen divisional road games. Give me the D-backs minus $1.25, over 8. Next game, Brewers, Phillies, 405 East. Philadelphia's minus $1.75, totals 9.5. Aaron Nola for Philadelphia, Aaron Ashby for Milwaukee. And I got to tell you, before we dive into the numbers, man, I tell you, when you think, the Philly crowd couldn't get low enough, man, I'll tell you, the past couple of days, they've shown nothing but class to Rhys Hoskins. 2 days in a row, standing ovation from the Philly faithful. I'll tell you, man, that is really, really special. That is a tough crowd there in Philly. And to get 2 standing ovations while you're wearing a different colored jersey, that's pretty good. That shows a lot of respect. But anyway, like I said, Aaron Nola for Philly, Aaron Ashby for Milwaukee, and Ashby was Trashby in his last outing. I know that's super corny. I shouldn't even have said it. But the Brewers are having a tough time against the Phils. Now, they lost games 1 and 2 of this series, and they scored only 2 total runs in those games. So even if Ashby has a good showing here today, these Milwaukee hitters, they've been struggling with Philadelphia pitching. And, these recent games with Philly, that's been pretty typical of Milwaukee. When they face Philly's pitching, the Brewers are averaging under 3.4 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings with the Fightins. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. And as far as this season's concerned, well, Milwaukee's averaging nearly double-digit strikeouts a game at the plate. They're striking out way too much. Got to make more contact, put balls in play. Striking out way too much, many times. And I'll tell you, that's certainly bad news for them because these Phillies pitchers, they strike out more batters a game than any other staff in baseball. I know that the Yankees get a lot of attention, but these Philly pitchers, they are punching out people. They are ringing up a lot of batters. And Aaron Nola, he's been no exception to that. 71 strikeouts on the year, 7-2 record, 1.03 whip. And of course, even if Nola struggles, which he probably won't, but if he does, he's backed by the highest run-producing lineup in the game. Alec Boehm's got 50 RBI on the season. That's fourth most in the majors. And Edmundo Sosa's got an OPS in the 900s. Insane value if you're a fantasy guy, by the way, on Sosa. He's replaced Trey Turner and has done a fantastic job. There's been no drop-off in that shortstop position. Now, injury-wise, Turner, Marsh, and Clemens are all out for the Phils. And when it comes to the total, Phillies' last 5 games at the bank did fall under the number. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Brewers are 13-8 to the under against National League opponents on the road. Give me the Phillies minus 175, under 9.5. Next game, little NL East action here. Mets Nationals 405 East. The Mets are minus 145, totals 9. Luis Severino for New York. Patrick Corbin for Washington. And the Nationals' last 3 straight at home did get over the total. 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now, 6 out of the Mets' last 10 ball games got over the line as well. Give me the over 9. Next contest, Royals, Guardians. Some more divisional action here, this time in the AL Central. 6:40 Eastern first pitch. Cleveland is minus $1.25, totals 9.5. Nick Sandlin for Cleveland, Brady Singer for Kansas City. And as good as Singer's been, well, I got to back the Guardians in this spot again. They're the first team in the division to 40 wins, and they're just very opportunistic at the plate, because for a team who doesn't get a whole lot of base runners, man, do they drive them in. Listen, if you're on the Guardians and you do happen to get on base, you're scoring. You're getting driven in. Cleveland's a top 5 run-producing lineup in the major leagues. And I'll tell you who's going to be the one to most likely drive you in. That's Jose Ramirez. He's like always leading the league in RBI. It's been that way over the past couple of seasons. And both Stephen Kwan and David Fry, well, they're both hitting in the mid-300s. And they have extremely high OPS averages. But even if for some reason they struggle at the plate, which I don't think they will, but they've got Nick Sandlin on the mound who's got a .77 whip. He's been very crafty. He's yet to record a loss. Definitely a role player, but is doing a great job for these guys. Probably a little bullpen session here today for the Guardians. Now, as good as the Royals have been for much of the season, we're not going to take anything away from them. But recently, they've kind of hit a skid here. Losers of 7 out of their last 9. All kinds of problems for them on the road. When they're away from Kauffman Stadium, this is a completely different team. They have a losing record away from home. And at the dish, they're averaging only 7.7 hits a game in their travels. They're in the bottom 5 of the league in walks per 9 away from home as well. Just not getting the job done in the box. Now, injury-wise, Kyle Isbell is questionable for Kansas City. Massey's still out. 7 out of KC's last 11 divisional road games fell under the total. They're also 60% to the under in all of their contests away from Kansas City. Give me Cleveland minus $1.25, under 9.5. All right, next game should be a good one. I know that the Pirates aren't great, but this is a great matchup on the bump. It's Dodgers-Pirates, 6:40 p.m. East. And guys, it is Pittsburgh, who is minus $1.20 at home here. Totals 8.5. And the reason for that 20-cent number there, 20-cent favorite, well, Paul Skeens is on the mound for the Pirates. James Paxton for Los Angeles got a couple of heavy hitters on the bump here tonight. And I'll tell you what, even though the focus is going to be mainly on the youngster Paul Skeens, it's actually James Paxton who's 5-0 on the year with an ERA in the 3s. Of course, at the plate, the Dodgers, very dangerous, averaging nearly double-digit hits a game on the road. Actually the third highest road scoring team in the major leagues. Of course, a lot of that thanks to Shohei Ohtani, who's hitting 321 with an OPS in the high 900s. And of course, Mookie Betts, he has the most hits on the roster, top 10 in the majors in batting average and OPS. And even though they could potentially be challenged by Paul Skeens here today, I don't trust this Pittsburgh lineup of hitters. If anybody can waste a good start, it's the Buccos. These guys are in the bottom 5 of the National League in runs per game at home, having all kinds of problems scoring at PNC Park this year. Now, injury-wise, Bart, Bay, and Williams all on the IL. Michael A. Taylor might have a baby here today, so keep an eye on his status. Looks like he might be going on that paternity list. Now, for the Dodgers on the other side of things, they're mostly healthy, except for Max Muncy. And when it comes to the total, 3 out of Pittsburgh's last 5 at PNC Park did get over the number. They were also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Dodgers plus $1 over 8.5. All right, next game, battle for South Florida. Talking about the Rays at the Marlins, 6:40 p.m. East. Tampa Bay's minus $1.25, total 7. Zach Eflin for Tampa Bay, Braxton Garrett for Miami. And the lefty Garrett's definitely looked decent in a handful of appearances. He's 2-0 with a 1.06 whip. And out of his 4 starts this year, the Marlins actually got the W in all of those games, and they looked really good at the plate. They're hitting for Garrett. They actually averaged 7.3 runs a game during those starts. Brian De La Cruz leads the roster in hits. Josh Bell's got the most ribbies. And they're facing Zach Eflin, who's got a losing record and an ERA in the 4s. Now at the dish, the Rays just haven't been good enough there either. They're striking out a bunch of times a game, and they're actually a bottom 5 scoring team in the American League. Now, Tampa Bay is 8-5 to the over in their interleague games. Meanwhile, Miami's going 70% to the over at Lone Depot Park. I think we can take advantage of a pretty good number on the total here. Give me Miami plus 105 over 7. All right, next matchup, Twins, Yankees, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The Bombers are minus $1.90, totals 8. Carlos Rodon for New York, Chris Paddock for Minnesota. And even though Patty's got a winning record, he's certainly allowed his fair share of runs. Paddock's got an ERA of 4.57, 1.38 whip. And at the plate, the Twins are definitely having some issues getting on base. They really don't walk a whole lot at the dish, and they're a bottom 5 hit-producing team in the American League. And I'll tell you, that's not a good recipe for success, especially when you're facing lefty Carlos Rodon. He's 7-2 with an ERA of 3.09 for the Yankees here. And the lefty's got 62 strikeouts and a 1.13 whip as well. Of course, as a pitching staff, the Yankees have been the toughest team to hit against. They're allowing fewer runs a game than any other club in the majors. Now, total-wise, Rodon's last 3 starts all got over the total. 7-2 to the over in his last 9 starts as well. Give me the Yankees minus 1.5 over 8. Next contest, Orioles, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern start time. Toronto's minus $1.25, totals 8.5. Jose Barrios for Toronto, Albert Suarez for Baltimore. And through 34-plus innings, the righty Suarez has yet to record a loss. He's got an ERA of 1.57 and a sub-1 whip. Of course, at the plate, the O's continue to tear it up. They're in the top 3 in runs per game. Gunnar Henderson's got the second most homers in the majors. That's 19 bombs with an OPS of 957. And Adley Rutschman leads the roster in hits. Now, don't get me wrong. They're going to face some good pitching here today. We're not going to discredit that. But the Blue Jays as a team, they're not playing well at home. They have a losing record in their own building. And they've actually had all kinds of problems offensively against Baltimore in recent meetings. They've been held to under 2.6 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings with the O's. Not sure what it is, but they're having a tough time hitting this Baltimore pitching. Maybe they're getting scouted well. I don't know. But as far as this season's concerned, we're actually seeing more of the same out of these Blue Jays hitters. Toronto's currently a bottom 5 run producing team in the American League. Now, 6 out of Toronto's last 10 gatherings with Baltimore stayed under the total here. So once again, this is a common opponent. These guys play each other a lot. If you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. And out of a dozen Jose Barrios starts this season, the under actually cashed in all of those games except for 3. Give me Baltimore plus 105, under 8.5. All right, next matchup, little Battle of Chicago here. White Sox, Cubs, 8:05 East. The Cubbies are the 80-cent favorite, totals 8 runs. Jameson Taillon for the Cubs, Eric Fetty for the White Sox. And, I'm not going to get on here and shit on Fetty. He continues to be a rare bright spot for the White Sox. I got nothing bad to say about him. But, the problem with this organization is their bats. The Sox are dead last in hits per game, dead last in scoring. Got a couple key guys out of the lineup, Jimenez and Robert. They've been banged up. If I were them, I probably wouldn't even come back this year. Just stay at home. But anyway, they're going to have their hands full today with Jameson Taillon. He's got only 2 losses on the year with an ERA of 2.84. And even though the Cubs haven't particularly been ripping the cover off the baseball, not really putting on an offensive clinic, they do find ways to get on base, though. They're actually leading most clubs in the majors in walks per game. Chris Morel, he's gotten the most free passes in the lineup. Club leader in home runs as well. And, of course, Nico Miso Horner, he is the clubhouse leader in hits. And I cannot take credit for that horrible nickname. Heard that from Roflo on MLB Central. But anyway, the Cubs' last 4 straight at Wrigley Field got over the total. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, the White Sox saw 7 out of their last 10 get over the total themselves. Give me the Cubs minus 1.5, over 8. Next game, Tigers, Rangers, 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Texas is minus 135, totals 9. Jose Urena for Texas, Kenta Maeda for Detroit. And even though Maeda's had a handful of rough outings this year, the Tigers do tend to hit pretty well for him. He's recorded only 2 losses this year through 40-plus innings. And as a team, the Tigers are actually playing some pretty good baseball. They got the W in 7 out of their last 10. They've got a winning record on the road, believe it or not. And they're facing a Rangers squad on the other side, a little bit different. They've actually got a losing record at Globe Life Field. And as solid as Urena has looked in a handful of showings, he doesn't have much to show for it, numbers-wise. The righty's 1-5 with a 1.34 whip. Now, Evan Carter is still out for the Rangers. Kerry Carpenter inactive for Detroit. Comes to the total, 6 out of Detroit's last 10 ball games did get over the total. They're also 63% to the over when they bat first. Give me the Tigers give me the Tigers plus $1.15, over 9. Next game, Pods, Angels, 9:38 East. San Diego's minus 145 away from home, total 7 runs. Dylan Cease for the Friars. Jose Soriano for Los Angeles. And despite several good outings for Soriano, this Angel team just can't win for him. He's 2-5 on the year, and he does have some control issues at times. Now, as a team, the Angels lost 7 out of their last 10, and they've actually got the worst home record in the bigs. Out of 30 total games in their own stadium, LA's yet to reach double-digit victories. What is it, 9-21? And they're going to face Dylan Cease on the other side, who's got a handful of wins himself and a boatload of strikeouts. The righty's rung up 87 batters already, and he has a solid .97 whip. And I'll tell you what, for the most part, the Pods have been just smoking the baseball on the road this year. They're averaging a league-best 10.3 hits a game in their travels. Jurickson Profar leads the lineup in hits, second highest qualifying batting average in the major leagues. And Luis Ariz, he's hitting .377 with San Diego. Very Tony Gwynn-esque of him. Now, injury-wise, Bogart's still out for the Pods. Sano, Adrianza, and Drury. They are all inactive for Los Angeles. When it comes to the number, 5 out of the Angels' last 8 interleague home games got over the total. Meanwhile, the Pods saw 3 out of their last 4 Dylan C starts get over the line themselves. The Padres minus 145 over 7. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our next and final breakdown for the video. Going to be in that Mariners Athletics game. That'll be a 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Seattle's minus $155, totals 8.5. Logan Gilbert for the M's, Joey Estes for Oakland. And out of 20-plus innings of work this year, the righty Estes has certainly given up a bunch of runs. He currently has an ERA of 6.10, and his lineup behind him, they can't hit for shit. Oakland's a bottom 5 run-producing team. And they're going to face Logan Gilbert, who's got 71 punch-outs himself and a whip of 1 flat. And even though the M's really aren't known for their offensive prowess, they certainly like to hit against Oakland. They've averaged over 5.2 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings. 7 out of the Mariners' last 10 ball games did stay under the total this year. Meanwhile, Oakland went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Mariners minus 155, under 8.5. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Give me the Braves plus $1, under 10. I like the under 9 in the Cardinals-Astros game. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that I actually like the best, I'm 6-0 my last 6 board member tier package picks on my premium site. Give me the Rockies plus $1.10, under 12. D-backs minus $1.25, over 8. Phillies minus 175, under 9.5. I like the over 9 in the Mets-Nationals game. Guardians minus $1.25, under 9.5. Dodgers plus $1, over 8.5. Marlins plus 105, over 7. Yankees minus 1.5, over 8. Baltimore plus 105, under 8.5. Cubs minus 1.5, over 8 runs. Tigers plus $1.15, over 9. Padres minus 145, over 7. Give me the Mariners minus 155, under 8.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.